What is up, guys? It's the Sound Alchemist, and once again I am joined with
Gersh1
in another titillating episode of For the Greater.
This is a video series where we answer the questions left by you, the viewers. If you have a question for us, comment down below. Put a question in front of your question because we get to those questions first. Let's get to this very titillating question by Mateus CH. Which chaos god benefits from living beings feeling fear? I feel like there should be a separate chaos god for fear because it is such a powerful emotion, and in my eyes, it doesn't fit for already existing ones. Great content, by the way.
Gracias. Yeah, I agree.
I disagree.
Really? You think fear should be one of them, not a separate entity?
Right, a part of all of them.
Yes and no. Because for me, okay, so before we dive into the question, I want to say that for me, the Chaos Gods are awesome and they're amazing, but I really wish they would have had minor gods. Like maybe, I don't know, 5 or 6 minor gods that each encompass their own emotion or a splinter of one of the major Chaos Gods.
I think that would add complexity to the Chaos Gods, and I would like that, yeah. Mm-hmm. I understand why they didn't do that, because now it's easier, because then it becomes like not just the Chaos faction with 4, but now it's the Chaos faction with all.
Yeah. Or if the Chaos Gods had their generals and it's like each one embodies a portion of them. Like how, Slaanesh is like the Prince of Excess, but also Pleasure. Then you could have those two become generals of Excess and Pleasure. But altogether, it's like a combination of the 1 + 1 = 2, but it's the Chaos Gods are greater than the sum of their parts in that way.
Yeah, that would be cool. I would really like that. However, I do think that fear is one of those emotions that it's so strong and it's so flexible that all the 4 Chaos Gods already encompass it. Starting with the most popular one, and I think the one that is talked about in the books, and that's Khorne. Khorne represents fear because it is the fear of losing that drives you to honor, that drives you to better your opponent. Also, your opponent feels fear when you're standing over him in victory and about to crush his head or take his skull.
Yeah.
Same thing with Nurgle, entropy, the thought of you will die, and that process of slowly decaying brings fear.
Right.
And then Slaanesh, obviously we just went through Halloween season, and it's the favorite holiday for so many people for a reason, because I think there is pleasure that derives from fear.
Right.
Some people like to get choked, they like to get whipped.
It's that fear of the pain, but it's knowing that it's kind of out of your control, but also in your control.
Exactly. See, someone likes fear.
Or BDSM, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, whatever it is.
I don't, actually.
Neither do I. Why would you want to feel pain?
Yeah.
Yeah. Tzeentch is the most difficult one to connect to. That one's I feel
it could be the fear of the unknown, because you're always planning and trying to be shifty and smarter than your opponent. So not knowing what your opponent has, that fear is forcing you to become smarter.
Yeah.
Outplay them.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, so that's why I think that fear is too flexible. It's almost like happiness or joy or that encompasses the god Emperor. And we're lucky that there's only one of the good Chaos Gods.
Right. But at the same time, I feel like fear can be its own thing, because you could have fear of the unknown, fear of the dark, fear of chainsaws and all this stuff.
Yeah.
You really could have a god that could really play on that, have their demons be syringes if you're scared of needles or something like that. Whereas the same thing for a demonette, where you look at a demonette, the most alluring thing is there. When you look at a demon of fear, your most fearsome things get projected in that demon.
Like Harry Potter, yeah.
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 So in a way, I could see it be its own thing, but you make a good point of it being a part of everything.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think we're kind of stuck on this one.
I do have the question, though. Is there a specific emotion that you guys think doesn't fit in any of the 4 Chaos Gods?
Horniness. That's all Slaanesh.
Yeah, that definitely does.
Hangry.
Hangry also fits in Slaanesh.
Hungry?
Yeah. Hunger. Or hunger, it fits on all 4. It's the hunger to be better, the hunger not to die, the
Right.
hunger to check off.
Because hunger can just be drive to just drive. The drive to be the best. The drive to consume.
Exactly. Yep. But yeah, if you guys come up with like an emotion that like just doesn't fit, I would like to hear it.
Mm-hmm.
And don't say Malal or what is
the god,
renegade
god of malice. He could be the god of fear. Didn't you make, or was that a Greater Wall, where we talk about the god of fear?
I don't
I don't know, but I remember the thumbnail. It was like, it looked like a husk with like teeth.
I don't remember. We
No.
probably did it. There's been so many Greater Walls. We do four. No, we used to do four
a
a
week. Now it's just 3.
Yeah.
But good question, man. Really good question. Really makes you think.
Next question.
This one's by PB Unit. You said that Space Marines drill every day, but whose mom they drilling?
It's actually their stepmom
Oh.
because let's not be sucios.
Yeah, they drill every day. I mean, they're made for war. They're made for conquest. That's their whole thing. So it's like, why wouldn't they practice? Why wouldn't they drill?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't even know if they have penises.
That's true.
This question comes from Random Realistic Tone. Can you guys do Steel Confessors next? So we already have, and I think you asked this before, but we have 2 videos for the Steel Confessors. The latest one is the better one, but yeah, check them out. They're really interesting.
This one's by Twist Jane. In the current state, it seems that all the quote-unquote good factions are doomed. The galaxy is ripped in half by chaos, the Silent King has returned, and there are more threats like the Tyranids and the Orc that haven't made a big entry yet, since the fall of Cadia. So, do you think that an alliance like in fantasy, with the dwarves, human, and elves, would be a good idea for the lore and tabletop if the Tau, the Imperium, and the Eldar are going to have a chance against all of them? Or do you think they will lose, as such is the grimdark aspect of 40K?
I think it would be bad. I think if they do what they did at Age of Sigmar with like Order...
Order of Death, Order of Chaos, and all that.
Yeah, I don't think that's good. I like the fact that it's Imperium, because Imperium is huge. And then they have like the Xenos, and then they have the individual Xenos and stuff like that.
Yeah, because the Imperium of itself is the humans, Space Marine, the Inquisition, Sisters of Battle, Saints.
Sorry.
Yeah, you have a lot like to work with. AdMech. So that in itself is, like you were saying, working together. The whole xenophobia is what's going to split them apart and not allow them to work. I mean, that's not to say they haven't worked together in the past. Like the Necrons and the Blood Angel, they've worked together. So they will ally for a small portion, but I don't think it's going to be like a huge thing going forward. Because if it was, it would have happened with the Eldar and the Space Marines when they brought back the Emperor. Or not the Emperor, Gilliman. And obviously that wasn't a thing, so...
It didn't last.
Right.
Yeah. Next question comes from Corey Black. A live stream Q&A? Yeah, I mean, eventually. I think we kind of have to figure out how we're going to stream, though. Because the camera that I use, I don't think... Like, I have to figure out how to connect it to live and all that stuff.
Cody Stahl. What was the Orcs' reaction to Primaris Marines? I mean, I imagine they were absolutely stoked, but is there any content in actual writing that shows their first reactions?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think there's much of a difference between a regular Marine and a Space Marine to an Orc. They're still, what do they call them? Ard boys? No.
Tin head?
No.
Tin heads are Necrons.
Yeah.
Beaky boys or something like that. Beak boys.
Those are the Raven Guard.
But yeah.
Yeah. To them, it's just a fight. A fight's a fight.
Some of them are tougher, more proper, but that's about it. Next question.
Dark Disciple. Since the Asari are a race of blue-skinned women from Mass Effect, do you think the Tau would see them as their equals and allow them to join the greater good and mate with them, since they have both blue skin?
Aren't they supposed to be... I know a little bit about Mass Effect lore, and aren't they supposed to be, like, super seductive? So probably.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of Mass Effect, they're making, like, a whole, like, collector's edition that comes with all the games, and
for Xbox, right?
I don't know. It could be like the new gens and PC. Yeah, but I heard about it.
I never finished Mass Effect 3. Probably never will.
What did you think from what you have played?
I liked it. I think it was one of those things though that I wanted the story to keep going, so I rushed through it. I wish I can go back and like really customize my character. But that was a long time ago. This next question comes from Angel Warrior 28. Are there any animals from present modern day Earth that still exist in the 40K universe, and what are they? And what are of some of them? What are some of them?
So you have dogs, but some of them have like cybernetics, like cyber mastiffs.
Yep.
You've got cats, birds. They're all pretty much there.
Basically all the pets that we have now.
Giraffes? Probably not.
No. I've never seen somebody with a pet giraffe. Except Michael Jackson.
Yeah, that's true. He had a whole zoo.
But was he a somebody?
What's that one thing called? That like little like amoeba thing that can survive being in space, can survive being in volcanoes.
The bear thing?
Yeah, the something bear.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Looks like a little...
I mean, if that's what you think it looks like.
Yeah.
Oh, that's probably still alive.
Yeah.
This one's by Newfieman708. Will all technology that humanity had in the Golden Age, surely they did live in a time with disease and other issues, wouldn't that have been slowed? Plus other medical wonders would be around that time to improve the human body. So would humanity just be straight up space marines anyway during that time?
No, not necessarily, because technology didn't just expand in the genetic process. It also expanded like in other fields. And that's what STCs represent. It's like a library of information for you to use to better your life. Not just like something that's going to teach you to like become a god, basically.
Yeah. Because like everything they did, it doesn't mean that they had like gene seed and all that stuff. Like look at the Renaissance back then. They thought they were in like the explosion of like thought and ideas, inventions. But like in our standards, it's like, well, yeah, they didn't have internet. So it's kind of that same thing. Where their golden age of humanity was great. But then when you look at like what it's like, well, no, because like in 40K, they kind of regressed.
Yeah. But the point is that they never reached that level of like, I'm going to be a space marine, because they didn't have what the Emperor had, which was his intelligence and his psychic powers.
Yeah. So that's like saying technology isn't everything. You also need magic.
Yeah. Yep. In that world, yeah. Not in real life, because magic isn't real.
Yet. This question is by Bunny Hop. Could a Primaris Marine beat a firstborn captain in combat? I think it depends on the Marine itself. Because when you look at it, firstborn, they're still pretty tough. Just because Primaris came out doesn't mean that they're like automatically weaker. They still have been fighting for like hundreds, maybe thousands of years. So they have the experience. And depending on, what Primaris Marine it is, what Space Marine chapter they hail from, their tactics might be better suited to fight against that captain or not. So it all depends.
Right, because a firstborn will definitely know what advantage the Primaris has. So just work against that advantage. It's kind of like when you hear about fighters taking on fights with short time to prepare.
Yeah.
That's because they actually study the other fighter. So it's kind of the same thing with the classic Marine or the firstborn Marine. He's going to know what the Primaris Marine is going to bring to the table.
Yeah. So it's not always, the shiny thing always wins.
Right.
Giovanni Bini. Where are the Startide Nexus and the 5th Sphere expansion located in the galaxy? And will we ever see a 6th one? So with the Tau, the way they expand is in spheres. So think of it as like circles. So you have the Tau Sept world, and you have the 1st sphere expansion, 2nd, 3rd, and then 4th. However, I think the Nexus happened on like the eastern fringe of that expansion, so it's like towards like the east side of the Tau space, and it opened up at like the southern area, I believe. So like the wormhole opened up over here, and then another one opened up here, and that's why they're able to like move around the galaxy.
Good answer for GW, because there was some times where I was like, if I'm going to create lore and there's a Tau player, I have to create lore in the Ultima Segmentum. Because otherwise, why would there be Tau by the Eye of Terror? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. So with these wormholes and nexuses, that's how they make it work.
Yeah.
So yeah, eventually there will be a sixth one, and probably more once they actually find out how the technology works and like the warp and all that.
Yeah.
Give them time. They're the youngest race right now.
This next question comes from Jesus Garcia.
Jesus.
What happened to the soul of the Harlequins when they die, since they are supported by the Laughing God? They still have spirit stones, and they are protected by the Laughing God. And more than likely, they're going to be brought back into the webway, or into the portion of the webway that is corresponding to the Harlequins, which is by the Black Library.
Because normally, Eldar, when they die, they go into the soul stone.
Yeah.
Or soul gem?
Spirit stone.
Spirit stone, yeah.
Yeah, so it's kind of the same thing.
Yeah. But yeah.
Yeah, because like the Exodites, they have something very similar to. I mean, it basically is a spirit stone or a soul stone, one or the other.
Yeah, one's Marvel, one's 40K.
Yeah,
it's the same thing.
And then he has a part 2. When Dark Eldar die, are their souls treated a little better by Slaanesh compared to other Eldars? No, they're consumed and destroyed just like any old human, maybe even a little bit more so for an Eldar as opposed to another Xenos. But like, I think that Eldar wise, they don't care. Slaanesh wants to consume. And the way that the Eldar or the Dark Eldar have been able to prevent, well, they haven't been able to prevent it. What they do is they just torture and they suck from, they eat the energy of agony and pain from the people.
Yeah. Kind of like we do on Sunday evenings.
Exactly. We suck each other. Next question.
Corey Black. Is that like Goku and Goku Black? Where's the real Corey? Majin?
Yeah.
Majin Corey Black? Can the Chaos Gods be killed?
No.
Nah. At least not in the warp. Because when they make demons, they make demons from their own body, their own power. And then when they go into real space, when that demon dies, it just goes back into the warp, and it goes back into the Chaos God. So it's like it's an energy recycle way. Yeah. So yeah, there's no real way to kill them unless you completely wipe out every sentient and living thing, so that way the gods have no beliefs and emotions to feed off of, and I guess they'll slowly dwindle, maybe? Or at least they'll be put into a stagnant phase.
Yeah, think of the power of the Chaos Gods like torrents in the water.
Perfect. Yep.
The calmer it is, the less likely the torrent is going to be strong enough to like hurt you until it's finally like still. So what who were they? The Conclave? No, what are they called?
The Cabal?
The Cabal. The Cabal was trying to just make the warp as still as it once was when the old ones were around. By killing humans.
Right. And then humans came up, and it's like all these raindrops in the water, and it's like, oh.
Yeah. Raindrop.
Drop top.
The last question, do I have one? Nope, this is just about inhaling orcs. If you inhale an orc, you're either going to get a squig, a Gretchen, or an orc popping out of your chest. So those were the questions for today. If you guys have more questions for us, please comment down below. Thank you guys so much for sending these questions our way.
Yeah.
We'll talk to you later.
As always, I'm the Sound Alchemist.
Gersh1.
And we are afuera.
Always used to put my freedom first in any situation.